Engine trouble is just one of the hazards faced by chopper cops, the Southland's flying police force.
In a 9 News Extra, Tracy Savage shows us just how tough and dangerous fighting crime from the air can be. Tracy joins us live now from Long Beach. Tell us more.
Well, Jerry and Tony, I'm near the Long Beach Airport. This is where the LA County Sheriff's Department keeps its helicopters, and you're looking at one of 16 helicopters that the county officers fly, the men and women who fight crime from the sky. Now tonight, we're going to meet those men and women. There's no question their job is dangerous, but talk to any cop who flies and they'll tell you they wouldn't do anything else. It is almost impossible to imagine weathering any calamity in Southern California without them. Helicopters flown by fire departments, police and sheriff's departments, and scores of other agencies save lives and prevent injuries every day. During the floods last spring, on fires this summer, during the riots, or on routine patrol every night. Choppers and the people who fly them are over the Southland 24 hours a day. For the CHP, Sheriff's Department, and the LAPD, they are absolutely essential because helicopters give an unparalleled view of the city.
This is a 9 News special report.
And you're looking at pictures in the San Fernando Valley on Interstate 5.
Earlier this year, it seemed every time you turned on the TV, there was a long-distance chase. CHP pilot Terry Kelbaugh was in the air over this one that started in Bakersfield.
The individual that's being pursued, he's going to be unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do, where he's going to go. So that's the reason for the helicopters, to allow the ground units to back off a little bit. That way, it's not going to push the suspect or the individual that we're chasing to do something rash.
All right, now we have the cab has been stopped and rammed by the CHP unit.
A far more familiar sight is the routine patrol flown by many law enforcement jurisdictions throughout the Southland. The LA County Sheriff's Department's Aero Bureau has grown from a volunteer force to one of the largest in the country.
What we are doing now had its early beginnings in 1965 during the Watts riots. It was at that point where it was really determined that, geez, helicopters probably could provide a pretty good aerial platform and an observation platform to give us an idea of what's going on the ground. In fact, it was a news media helicopter that gave us that idea.
The deputies who work street patrol, like Sergeant Rick Martindale, rely on helicopters to be their eyes and ears and help make sure an area is safe.
You see the helicopter up ahead and other responding units. You see the helicopter up in the distance?
A person got held up at gunpoint for their vehicle and money and purse, etc. Deputies were able to find one of the vehicles. The helicopter was able to keep the vehicle in sight while we made the stop, and the helicopter was able to coordinate the entire thing from the air to keep it safe for the deputies.
Deputy Deborah Wiedemann has been an observer with the Aero Bureau for just 4 months.
The observer in particular is responsible for the radios, for the maps, for navigating the pilot into any particular situation. When I get on the radio, my voice has to be real calm because all those deputies are counting on me. I know when I was a ground unit, that always helped me because your heart would just be racing. And as soon as that calm voice came over the air and said, okay, Air 22's overhead, everybody just calmed down and we caught the bad guy.
Unlike the LAPD, the Sheriff's Aero Bureau has a crew just for rescues. This big old helicopter, known as Air 5, spends a lot of time helping at mountain traffic accidents or on searches for lost hikers in the backcountry areas of the county. It's a specialized crew much larger than that on a city patrol and includes a second pilot, a medic, and a mountain rescue expert.
In an emergency situation, when every second counts, having this machine and the people in it on the scene can often mean the difference between life and death.
Last year, this helicopter participated in 560 rescues. More than 600 people were pulled out of the mountains because of the dedication of people like pilot Tony Pichot.
I remember when I first started out, I always felt if I could help just one person a day, that's someone that would not have gotten help if I wasn't there. So that's how I look at it. And in rescue, that's, when we get a call, I know we're going to help somebody, period. That's it.
Flying over the mountains or the city, the mission is the same. Getting help to people because lives depend on it and seconds count.
Suspect last seen running westbound on 161st. Ticket was $200 cash. Air 22 responding in 3.
The helicopter, no question, it's a valuable crime-fighting tool, but here in the county, that tool is on the financial chopping block. You know, that big helicopter that flies rescue? Well, because of budget problems, that helicopter has been grounded 3 days a week. And the budget problems are also causing problems with the personnel. 7 people, including observer Deborah Wiedemann, have been reassigned from the Aero Bureau. Now, because there are fewer people out here, these helicopters are spending less time in the air. The county is hoping it can come up with some money somewhere in order to keep these helicopters flying full time. Now, coming up tomorrow night in part 2 of my special 3-part series, we will spend a routine weekend with the LAPD. It is the largest air support division in the county. Now, I say routine, but you will see tomorrow night the job is anything but. Reporting live in Long Beach, I'm Tracy Savage. Back to you, Jerry, Tawny.
Good stuff, Tracy.
Excellent.
Very good.
Looking forward to tomorrow. Thanks.
We hear them overhead and we see their blinding beacons, but the chopper cop's job is a mystery to most of us.
In part 2 of a 9 News Extra, Tracy Savage takes us inside the cockpit with some members of LA's flying police force. Tracy is live right now in downtown LA to continue this. Tracy.
Well, Jane, Tawny, I'm at LAPD's helicopter facility, and they call this place the Air Support Division, and really that's what they do out here, support. The officers who fly these machines support the men and women on the ground. In part 2 of my series, we get a chance to see this teamwork in action. We went along on a ride with the largest airborne law enforcement agency in the country, LAPD's Chopper Cops.
Been a policeman for 23 years. 17 of those 23 have been in helicopters. I love aviation and I love police work. And this is a job that combines both things I really care about.
Bob Baker's job is to fly the helicopter. It's a high-tech crime-fighting machine.
We've got state-of-the-art police radios. We've got forward-looking infrared. We've got a light that's 30 million candle power. And we've got a machine that said will do, almost 140 miles an hour.
His partner, Gil Campos, is the observer who navigates to a crime scene, monitors the radios, and directs ground units when needed. From the moment they lift off, they are busy. The pace will not slacken all night.
Air 3's over the call 8412 South Vermont has the vehicle in a male black under the hood wearing a white cap, green shirt, blue jacket.
I've got you coming southbound. You'll see the 2 male blacks underneath the hood. One's got a turquoise green shirt.
12A1, 12A1, respond to the car stripper call 8412 South Vermont.
I can come over the call and assess the situation and advise the unit responding if the suspect is in the location or if he's fleeing, the direction he's fleeing, and guide the unit to the suspect.
Southwest Unit A, Southwest Unit 45.
And in an instant, they're off on their next call.
When the calls start coming in, they come in from all over the city. If you're not used to it, it sounds hectic. But the observer is trained to stay calm and know how to prioritize.
Another vehicle, no description. Shots were exchanged between.
At dusk on the ground at Southeast Division, the evening shift patrol officers get ready to hit the streets. Sergeant Stephen Falk has spent 19 years with the LAPD.
I am assigned to patrol 3 of the housing projects in Southeast Division: Nickerson, Gardens, Imperial Courts, and Jordan Down.
But Falk also patrols the surrounding neighborhood.
Roger, I talked to some wits. They said the shooting occurred.
In many of these situations, Sergeant Falk relies on the air crew to be his eyes and ears.
We see and direct them to what we see and try to get them there as safe as possible, and they do all the real police work.
Night flying presents its own challenges. Suspects might slip away in the darkness if it weren't for this high-tech, heat-sensitive system. They also face obstructions and other air traffic. Airborne police work never lets up.
I don't know what it looks like, an Oldsmobile or something like that. Do you see where I'm at right now?
Following a stolen car in front.
Yeah, Air 3, they're going to be coming up on Main, still westbound 102. Have responding units respond from the east. Yeah, Air 3, they're going to be going code 6 on that vehicle north of 102 on Main.
I started following the car, requesting an air shift and a backup. I stayed a couple furlongs back and waited for my backup. When we got the backup, stopped the car. My owner just stated that the suspect stole the car about 5 minutes ago.
Code 4?
Code 4, they got him in custody. The Z20 air unit, thanks a lot. These look pretty good.
Then the call all police officers dread screams across the radio.
All units, officer needs help, 54th and Central. Officer needs help, 54th and Central.
54th and Central. Get an air unit. Air 3's en route.
13 class 23, code 6, 54th and Central.
Air 3, 30 seconds. What seems to us like maybe 15, 20 seconds seems like eternity to that guy down on the ground that's fighting for his life or fighting to take a guy into custody. Okay, Air 3's over the call now. Okay, it's going to be on the west side of the street. I've got officers running. Looks like they're taking somebody down now. Okay, Air 3 to any ground unit. You have all officers accounted for?
This night, they are. And the helicopter moves on.
I like doing the job, but I feel just bad about the fact that there's so much going on, and this is the world that if I have a kid that he's going to grow up in, and I want to do everything I can to try to make that better.
And so it goes, round the clock for the members of the Air Support Division, LAPD.
Okay, he's going in between the houses, Bob.
They say it's a very exciting job, but it also can be very, very dangerous. Last year, this division lost 2 veterans. A helicopter went down, the cause, mechanical failure. And ever since the riots, these helicopters have been targets of sniper fire. Now, flying through the riots is a whole other story, and we'll deal with that tomorrow night in part 3 of my series. We'll hear the war stories from the officers who flew those 3 long nights trying to restore order and all that chaos. You'll see tomorrow night the riots left quite an impression on these cops. Reporting live in Los Angeles, I'm Tracy Savage. Tawny, Jane, back to you.
Fascinating.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, you bet. For our airborne police officers, the pace of nightly duty is tough enough, but imagine flying over the city during the riots.
Well, LA's chopper cops were faced with trying to make order out of all that chaos. Tracy Savage joins us now live in Sky 9 with a final segment over 9 News Extra, where the chopper cops tell us their war stories. Tracy?
They sure do. You know, during the riots, being up here in a helicopter was really a great place for the officers to be. You could see so much from up here, and it allowed them to find out where the hot spots were and just to see how widespread the riots really were. With so much going on the ground during the riots, some had wondered if the chopper cops were even flying. Well, I can tell you they were trying to do their job, feeling a little bit frustrated and also a little bit frightened.
The one thing that comes to mind, it looked like Kuwaiti out there. It looked like not oil wells were on fire, but we were talking about structures, homes, you know, people's livelihood were on fire. And this was the city of Los Angeles, something that I think really hit home to a lot of people that work to keep it a nice, peaceful community.
LAPD helicopter observer Gil Campos worked the skies over the riots. The helicopters were flying, but couldn't respond to every call for help. Helicopter pilot Bob Baker has been on the job for 17 years. He's accustomed to danger, but not to being a target.
We knew we were being shot at, and it was just like overwhelming because there was more calls coming out for help and assistance that we could respond to, and it was just very upsetting that we couldn't be at all these different places that we needed to be.
But the officers weren't only being threatened as they were flying over the city, they were also being threatened here at their own headquarters. Police got some intelligence that snipers were targeting this helipad, and there weren't enough officers to protect the whole area. As a result, the Air Support Division was forced to move its entire operation to another location. Once up in the air, flying higher and faster was one way to try to elude bullets, but everything that flew was a potential target. There is no armor on police helicopters. The only special protection the flyers have is a bulletproof vest to sit on. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
I was wondering if there was going to be bullets coming up through my feet, my backside, through a tail rotor, through a main rotor.
Deputy Deborah Wiedemann had been flying for the Sheriff's Aero Bureau for just 4 months when the riots broke out.
If it gets too dangerous, we're allowed to move to make it a little safer, but you can't let the people down. You got to do something. It was a difference between doing your actual normal law enforcement patrol, and now you're in some sort of war zone and you're receiving threats. They don't want you to help. They just want you, I guess, for lack of a better term, die, because they're willing to shoot you down.
As a result of the riots, both the LAPD and Sheriff's Department's helicopter units are considering changes.
We're looking into the possibility of ballistic armor at crucial points on the helicopter.
Making this bulletproof?
Well, to the extent that maybe not bulletproof, but certainly survivable.
The police and sheriff's departments are hoping to get better video capability. Video is important so commanders on the ground can see trouble spots and dispatch officers. During the riots, commanders had to watch TV like the rest of us. This small handheld camera is the sheriff's video system. The LAPD's video capability is more sophisticated, but was still overwhelmed last May.
During a riot where you have extraordinarily widespread events going on, 1 camera, 10 cameras aren't going to give you the kind of coverage that you need.
Whether it's to assist during riots or on everyday police calls, the agencies want better systems. In these times of budget cutbacks, it's not going to be easy. Officers are being reassigned, and the number of patrols being flown has been reduced, leaving officers on the ground feeling more vulnerable.
They have come to rely on the expertise of the people who fly these to provide them with information that they wouldn't ordinarily have. And to some extent, a lot of them will be going into a call blind.
After spending so much time in the air and on the ground, I have to say I've gained a lot of respect for our chopper cops. It's a tough, very dangerous job that they do, but they do it every night, and they wouldn't have it any other way. Now, I'd like to thank our local law enforcement agencies for allowing us to ride along with them. I'd also like to thank the Channel 9 news crew for helping put this series together. Videographer Jeff Males, David Cronshaw, Webb Weber, and John Vincent took the terrific pictures. Editor Tim Curran put it all together, and this special report never would have made the air without the help of our producer, Alex Epstein. He did a terrific job. Reporting live in Sky 9, I'm Tracy Savage. Back to you.
Well, Tracy, thank you. It looks so glamorous, and yet it is really very dangerous.
Yeah,
it's a tough job.
Series. I learned a lot.